This is the first interview that AJ's done with IFL TV in quite some time, as far as I'm aware. Now, the thing that struck me here about AJ is that he looks like he did when he fought Dylan White. The trim is the same. I think he even had a little bit of a beard when he fought Dylan White. Maybe not up the sides, maybe just a little bit of a goatee, but the trim is definitely the same. And this is very Klitschko-esque to me. This is kind of robotic thinking, whereby he wants to look like he did when he fought Dylan White to try and channel that type of energy that he had back then, that type of mindset. And I get it, but it seems a little bit deliberate. It seems a little bit, as I said, robotic thinking. And AJ has been accused of being robotic, not just as a fighter in terms of his style, but again, in the way that he talks. He talks like an NPC in a video game. Like someone who it just sounds a little bit awkward. They're not very fluid. Do you know what I mean? I think most of you do know what I mean. And in this interview, yeah, I just felt like, okay, what AJ is doing is very deliberate. There's no mystery behind it. And in boxing, mystery can be very powerful. And I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me use Tyson Fury as an example, but why not? Most people think he's the best heavyweight in the world right now, and he does so many things right. And one of the things he does right is his psychological approach. He keeps you guessing. You don't know what he's thinking. You don't know what he's really up to. And that is part of his brilliance. Yeah. Anthony Joshua, I'm not saying that we all know exactly what's going on in his head at any given moment, because we don't. But he does certain things that are just so obvious and so deliberate that it makes me think this is a little unsophisticated for this level of boxing. Because you're not just talking about extremely high level skills, in many cases athleticism and a high degree of experience, etc. But many of these fighters have, but also the psychological component. So many of these fighters are master chess players when it comes to the mental game. And Anthony Joshua just hasn't mastered that yet at all. I don't think he's close to mastering that. Maybe he never can master it. But yeah, that was my initial thought when I saw the interview. It's like, okay, he's trying to literally morph himself into the same Anthony Joshua who fought Dylan White. And maybe it will work. Maybe even though AJ is this robotic personality type, that it can actually, bear fruit in this instance. I said in the run-up to this fight that if Robert Garcia and Angel Fernandez can program this robot in AJ well enough, then that could actually work, in kind of a Manchurian Candidate type way, where he's so robotic that you cannot knock him off his mission, that no matter what, like the Terminator, he will just stay on rails and stay on his mission regardless of what he gets hit with. And in that scenario, you could say, well, yeah, being a robot helped, because if he was thinking more like a human, then his survival instincts would kick in. But with a robot, it's like, no, I must destroy, I must destroy. And that's kind of a gamble, right? Because if you look at the Andy Ruiz fight, the first fight, he was like that there. There was no thought of, okay, let me try and move around the ring and switch up the tactics and do something different. No, against Ruiz, he just continued trying to do the same thing, which is exchange with Andy Ruiz, which is absolutely bizarre. AJ doesn't have the kind of wherewithal that a Tyson Fury has, or many other fighters. When something is not working, we're going to switch up the tactics completely on the fly. Even if we didn't train for it, the fighter themselves knows how to do it. The closest thing I've seen to that AJ has done was in the Povetkin fight, to be fair. But that's the only example I can think of. Didn't see it against Ruiz in the first fight. Didn't see it against Usyk in their first fight. So, but again, with Usyk, there's not really going to be any benefit from staying on the outside and trying to peck and poke and do all that kind of thing. I don't think he's mastered the technique necessary to beat Usyk in that fashion. Maybe he'll shock me in this fight, But I don't think that he's going to be able to master the technique in such a short amount of time to be able to beat Usyk on the outside. I think you can beat Usyk on the outside if you know what you're doing, but I don't think AJ's going to be able to do that. I think that he's going to need that one-track mind of going forward, not reckless, not crazy like Derek Chisora necessarily, more controlled pressure, similar to a Mikey Garcia in his prime, counter-punching on the front foot, using a solid jab, trying to maneuver Usyk to the ropes, and then let loose when he can with pre-planned punches. So if he's moving him up to the ropes, he's thinking, okay, I'm either going to throw a left hook or a right hand when he tries to spin out, depending on which way he goes. I'm either going to hit him in the body or hit him in the head. I mean, everything pre-planned like that. So, yeah, that's what I mean in terms of AJ's robotic mind. If you can program it the right way, maybe you can get results. And this is a fight where there really can't be a plan B, as far as I can see. If plan A is to apply pressure and plan A point, A.0 or whatever, A.1, right? We'll call it that, is to apply more pressure. In terms of plan B, that would mean to do something completely different. No, I don't think there is any completely different plan that AJ can implement here that's going to work. Plan A is to apply pressure, and plan A.1, A.2 is apply more pressure, throw more punches. That's it. That's my take on it. Give me your take in the comment section below.